So Mark from the Limo Forums sent me a few more questions, follow-ups. One of the questions he asked is, what kind of buses did I drive for TriMet? I drove primarily Gillig Phantoms. They're a 40-foot bus. They have really good acceleration and really good turning radius. They were probably one of my favorites to drive, and so I'd end up choosing routes that used those buses. I drove all kinds, though. There were the old, these old buses that they had in the 60s that when they finally retired them in the 90s, they had 1 million miles on them. And those were a pain in the ass. Just being so much older, really you had to have a lot of upper body strength to manhandle the steering wheel and everything. And they were not much fun to drive. One of the other ones that I drove was the articulated buses. They're actually a 60-foot bus. It's a 35-foot front end with a 25-foot trailer. And one of the things about those buses is that the trailer wheels actually turned, and so you didn't really have to worry about the trailer except for maybe a little bit of tail swing. And the trailer, basically what it made happen was that you could turn in much sharper turns. You could get through much tighter locations and everything, even though it was a 60-foot bus. But because the trailer wheels turned as well, and they would track the center drive duals, it made it really easy. I'll tell you a funny story about that. One time I was out in Tualatin, Oregon, driving one of these buses, and I didn't drive those very often. I drove at that time, I think I was driving the extra board, which meant that you could be thrown into any situation at any time, and you'd just pick up anything. The driver didn't show up, a bus got in an accident, or whatever. You'd be off to the rescue is what you would do. Well, so I was driving this articulated bus, and I hadn't driven one for a while, and I'm taking this corner, and I took it too sharp, and I brought my duals up over the curb. Well, forgetting that there was a trailer, and forgetting that it tracked exactly where the duals went, as soon as I brought my duals down off of the curb, I punched the gas, because I had clear road in front of me, and I was ready to go. Well, I get out there, just a few feet further, and punch the gas, and I'll be damned if I didn't forget about those trailer wheels. And I felt the trailer hit the curb, and it caused, a wiggle in the back end of the bus. And I look in my mirror, and here's this woman, a little bit heavy-set woman, and she was mid-air. She had been sitting all the way in the back on the right-hand side where I hit the curb. And she was mid-air, still in the seated position, over the aisle. And so I immediately stopped, and she landed in the middle of the aisle, and oh my God, I felt so bad. And I knew that injuring someone on the bus was grounds for getting fired. So I went back there, and I immediately, found out if she was okay. And she was okay. I was really lucky because she says to me, well, honey, I have lots of extra padding that I landed on. So it was kind of funny, but scary at the same time. I really could have hurt her because I threw her out of her seat and landed her in the aisle. And when I saw her in the back there in my mirror, her butt was over the back of the chair, so she got some real height out of that. Anyway, that was just one of those funny things, those experiences that you have when driving a bus and, making a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes. That was just quite a whopper. So, speaking of curbs, there is another thing that Mark asked me about, which is like, what's the clearance on a vehicle like this? And our Hummer here, it has not been raised at all, but you can see this bar down here. And let me go ahead and measure it. And I suspect it's like 8 to 10 inches. Let's see here. Right about 10 inches. And so that is a fine height, I guess. We haven't hit any curbs. We have scraped a few times in a few different locations, going into driveways and stuff. I did, at one point, I was in Roseburg, and I did made a wrong turn up onto a hill, and we did scrape on that. I had to back down, back around. So Mark also asked me about left foot braking again, and wanted to know, what other situations it could be used for. He cited an actual ambulance site, which he mentioned said that we could, you'd use your left foot for braking when going over a curb. I don't necessarily agree with this. I think that you can do just fine using only the right foot. I think the only other instances other than stopping rollback on using your left foot is when you are in a performance car race driving. Getting vehicle reactions like getting the suspension to set up right for a turn and other stuff like that, which limos and buses are not race cars. I don't see any need at all for why we would need that. So the last thing that Mark asked was actually about backing up and using cameras. So let me turn it on here. And so I got the vehicle on, and let me show you this. This is our camera system here. And so we've got forward and reverse right here, forward on the left, the back on the right, and then we've got our cameras that are both sides here. So with the reverse camera, you can actually do a lot more precision driving, and this came in really handy while we were in the Brookings area. I had an aunt that I was visiting there, and she lived on a dead end. The street dead-ended, not in the normal way. There was no turnaround down there. It's right on the state line of Oregon and California, and so the road just stops because they decided to put in a checkpoint station out on the highway, and so the road just stops. Goes into a field, fence there, no way to get around. So I had to drive backwards. And I had to do it off of Highway 101 to where I would drive backwards down around a corner and about a block and a half down the road backwards. The backup camera allowed me to actually more so look around the corner because I had to make a corner while driving backwards, and that actually helped tremendously. Now, a good driver can drive backwards with their mirrors. When you drive backwards, there's one rule of thumb. If you don't have a backup camera, you don't know what's behind you, you have a real big blind spot, you need to step out of the vehicle, go back to the back of the vehicle and look to make sure that there's no cars hiding there, and then you hop back in your vehicle and proceed backwards, making sure that nobody pulls in behind you. I know that with buses, the buses don't have cameras on them, and the rule of thumb is you never back up. And if you have to, you got to go back there and check, because really you can hide two cars behind you, not being able to see them in your mirrors. And in a vehicle like this, we could hide a smaller car behind it. Definitely could hide pedestrians, bicyclists. Oh my God, I'm in Portland, Oregon, and bicyclists are everywhere. We were named the #1 bicycle-friendly city. Whoopee, I hate bicycles. But also I know some stats that we are #1 in the nation for the most bicycle users, or people who use bicycles for daily transportation. And we were #1 by around 50 times the next closest city. And that's really scary. Everywhere we have bike lanes here, you have to watch out for them everywhere. They're a real pain in the ass because they do not follow the street signals like cars have to. And while they're supposed to, they don't. And it just irritates the hell out of me when I see them running red lights and stuff like that. They want the respect of a vehicle, but they don't earn it. So anyway, that's just my little pet peeve. Mark, thanks for the questions. Hit me with more if you got more.